So, can you state your name, age, and where you're from?
My name is Mary Blackman. I was born in Mansur, Louisiana. I'm 76 years old.
Wow. So I bet that you have seen a lot of different events
I
uh
am.
in your lifetime.
Yes, I have.
Okay. So can you tell us a little bit about your parents and how they were?
Well, my parents, Richard was Mitchell and Wadia Augustine, and they live on a farm. They farm for those the white people. That's usually my dad had to use a plow and a horse to plow so many acres of lands every day. And me as a little child and my brother and sisters, we all had to get out there and hoe all day in the hot sun. But we never had anything. We lived in an old house with doors to them. I can brightly tell you that I stayed in a house with doors to the house. And we didn't have nothing. It was bad. It was hard. I seen hard time.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about the sharecropping experience. I think that you're alluding to having parents that
It was very,
sharecroppers.
yeah, it wasn't a nice thing when you had to pick on hard and couldn't go to school. All the white children was catching the bus and we couldn't. And what hurt me more, the time when we still a white man put his name was Rosa. And he was a principal in Moorville High. And we went to school one day. His wife told Daddy. His wife told him. We went to school and he came that night fussing and told Daddy that we could not go to school. We should be stay there to that house and pick that cotton till the cotton is all out of the field. We could not go to school. But his year they cut the bus and go to school. And I remember the time when we had to wouldn't go to school till September, October, because all of the buses passed every day, but not one black child was on our bus. And they had to first pick the cotton. They didn't have nothing. After you picked the cotton, you still didn't have nothing.
Wow.
And I remember when we had to walk to school, and the white children would pass by and tell us, "Hey, nigger," because we on the first we didn't have a school bus. The white had the bus. We didn't have a bus at all. We had to walk, and they'd call us, "Hey, nigger, walk, nigger, walk, nigger." It's just been rough. From where I came from, it's been rough. I hate to think about my mom and daddy, how rough it was when they was born, and my grandfather and grandmother. Because I went through a lot just myself with my father and mother trying to raise a crop.
Okay, so this was probably during the time of segregation.
Yeah,
Could you describe to us what living in segregated Louisiana was like?
it was bad. It was bad. I remember the time we had to pick moss. We'd go all in the woods and pick moss to make mattress. And had to pick that moss. And every so up couple of months we had to take my parents had to take that loose and we had to pick that moss out, make moss mattress and moss pillows. I remember that. That's one thing I remember. It was tough. We came from a long ways. I remember the time when I had to share corn for white people. I played on the farm. I was a little good girl. Share corn all the morning in the crib. Sit in that crib and share corn all the morning till 12 o'clock in the daytime for a quarter. For 1 quarter. And you couldn't go in their house. They didn't let you go in their house.
So what would y'all drink during this time in the summer heat, working?
Nothing but water. And we'd get the man would pay with block ice, which you put in the ice box, they call it. And we buy 50 pound ice. You come about twice a week and put 50 pound for 50, about 50 pound ice for about 50 cents maybe. And that was our ice water. Everybody had an ice box, they call it. And the ice would last in it because it was an ice box. But we didn't have running water on the white dishes, and we didn't have running water to take a bath. We had to draw water from the well to take a bath. And, we had to draw water. You went to the door when I married and had children. I was still drawing water from the well and putting in the tub to bathe my children and me at night.
Okay, so one question I would like to ask is, what was your education like at this time, if you had to work in the fields, when were you allowed to go to school?
We hardly went to school. I went to school to the 6th grade, but it was hardly was going to school at that time because, like I said, you had to work for those white people. It was no you had to first get all the crop out for them to have their money to send their children to school. And I seen hard time. I seen my poor daddy, with a mule plowing all day, and my poor mama hoeing. And we had little children. You when your children was little at that time, when we were like 6, 7 years old, 8 years old, we was in the field all day, and we had to stay in that field all day. Our parents make us get up 4 o'clock in the morning, get ready to be in that field for sun in the morning to please those white people. From the house somewhere to stay. And it was
Oh,
stuff.
and what city was this?
That was in a long cotton pole while we stayed in Rose. I used to stay in cotton pole, Long Bridge, you call it. And then we stayed in another man place in Moorville. It was the same thing. They all was the same. We stayed in another man place named, I can't call that man name. Alton. I can't call the one in Moorville what we named. And we stayed with a Roy man. We stayed on his crop down Granny Call Lane. You stayed with him, you wouldn't get a penny. He would tell you ain't came out, yeah, Dad, and you ain't came out with nothing. We didn't have clothes, nothing. We just worked for I remember the time with my dad and them just worked for the white people. We didn't have anything. I'm blessed now that I got a house and my children went to school. And my grandchildren's in school, and I'm happy of that. That God heard my grandma prayer and my mother prayer.
At this time, did you think things would ever change?
I couldn't think if things was going to change, but I prayed for it to change.
Um, I have a question. What was church like back then? Church life.
Church, we had to walk to church. But our grandmothers made us go to church. We did go to church. I done walked to Lil Zion a lot of time. And I done walked to the Catholic Church in Moorville a lot of time. We didn't have no car. Years ago, I done seen people come to the church in their wagon. People come in their wagon and on their houses. I have seen that, but we had to go to church. We had to walk maybe 2 or 3 miles to get to Lil Zion some Sunday, but we had to go. My grandmother and them didn't play that, my mom and them. And I was a Catholic, my dad was a Catholic, but I went to the Baptist church a lot of times because I beat my grandmother all the time. But I also went to Catholic church. We had to walk to church.
Was the preacher slash minister African American, black?
Yeah. The Baptist one was the white priest was white, but I never had a black priest when I was little. All his white people, but the Baptist preacher was black.
Okay. Um, do you remember um any any brutality from the police officers on black people back then, where black people were
Oh yeah,
abused?
they didn't come in. I could attack my people before, put them in jail for nothing. I didn't see that.
Can you recall one of those experiences?
I was a little girl. I was about 10 or 12 years old. I remember they took my uncle to jail one night. He hadn't hardly did anything. But at that time, you didn't have to do nothing for them to put you in jail. Just the least little thing you do, they threw you in jail. Or try to take your house from you if you had a house. They took a lot of my grandma's land. She had a lot of land. Go all the way to the New Road. And they took that. The white people just took all of that. And my grandma, she prayed hard. She'd get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. She'd pray. She wouldn't pray like we pray. She'd pray real loud. But my grandfather would read the scripture and she'd pray till she cried for her kids. I never forget my grandma praying and my mama, and my father.
Wow. What was your grandmother?
What her name was?
Yes.
Cornelia Benjamin.
And what was she like?
She was a prayerful woman, a woman elected to go to church. And my grandfather was the same thing. I had a very, very smart grandfather. Everybody knew him. He wrote his own obituary for his funeral. And he put all his children's name and everything on it. He just was a smart man. And they liked it to pray and they wouldn't miss church. Then they had to walk to church. I don't care if it was raining or snowing. They went to church, but they had to walk. It was hard, but we made it.
What was on the average day? And I know it's kind of hard to probably recall, but on the average day, what would you have to do during picking cotton? How does one pick cotton?
You gotta put a sack in your neck and pick it. And let me tell you, it wasn't just the picking cotton. It was we pick cotton in a place that had so many rattlesnakes. We get out there 4 days, and when you wake up in the morning, rattlesnakes be all around you. And I also pick cotton in long bread. When I pick a stalk of cotton and finished picking the stalk of cotton, it had a snake all up on. I could the big snake was right. I know I put my hand on him because the snake was on the stalk of cotton.
Wow.
We picked just the Lord took care of us. That's all I'm telling you. We saved by the grace of the Lord.
Whoa.
That's how we were saved by the grace of the Lord.
At what age did you get married?
I ain't gonna lie to you. I got married at 18. And I was glad to get married because I was glad to get married. Then I was sorry after I got married. Because I wanted to get out of the field. I was tired of the field. I was just tired.
How is marriage going to help you get out of the field?
Well, the man I married, he didn't do field work. He didn't do field work. He didn't do field work, and his parents didn't do field work. So I ain't had to get in the field no more. I went back and tried to help Daddy, but then I just left it alone.
Because you really didn't like it?
I didn't like it. It was hard. It was hard to working out sun all day and all that. Poor Johnson grass and all that.
So where did
We
you?
didn't have a good fan to put on us after we come out the field.
Wow. So, where did you and your husband live?
In Mansura.
What was his occupation?
He do construction work. He worked on the railroad.
Was that hard?
Well, we did, that's when things started to pick it up. You got a job on the railroad. And I worked at John Locke for 17 years. And I did other work with the white people like you that we'd all had to go scrub the white people's houses. And do that kind of work for $1 a day. Or $2 a day. You had to do what you had to do then.
Do you remember Martin Luther King Jr.?
Yes, I remember him.
Well, how did you feel about him before he got killed?
I felt that he's a very nice man, a good man. I think he was one of the best.
Did his movement reach the South, Louisiana that is?
Yeah.
Did they have any demonstrations in you can remember from that time for the civil
I
rights
couldn't
movement?
remember no demonstration when I was little.
How did you and the black community react with Dr. Martin Luther King's assassination?
It was very sad, It was very sad. It was very hurting. It was a hurting thing, And everybody was just like me when they killed me. They didn't know what to say or what to do. They killed our leader.
So, how have things changed in your opinion from then to now?
Oh, it changed a lot. It changed a lot. My children would never could do the thing. I don't think my children would have lived through the things I went through. I really don't think they would have lived through the things I went through. It changed a lot, a whole lot. The children of the day is not don't have to haul water. They got a bathroom to take a bath. They got a good house to stay in, and I thank God for that. And Martin Luther King helped us a lot, He made the way for us, and I'm happy of that. But things have changed a whole lot. I can see a lot of change. I wouldn't want to take of my children going through the thing that I went through.
How were they able to go to college, and how many children do you have?
I had 9 living children, one miscarried. And through the grace of God, they went to college. Everybody asked me that how they did to go to college, and I just got to thank God for that. I was always a person with prayer. Even I'd wake at night to jog about, and I'd come back and get on my knees and pray and cry. Because my children was, it was just so sad, to be my children and that little retarded child there too. And I pray and cry and ask the Lord to give my children a chance. And I did it. God is my witness, I did it. And God brought us through. He brought us through. I never thought they was going to go to college. That wasn't in my mind. They was going to go to college, but I just asked the Lord to give them a chance. And when Linda finished school and she was going to college, I didn't, I looked at her and I said, she knows she can't go to college. We ain't got nothing. And we had moved in this house there. And she didn't go to college that summer. It got to December. She said, Mom and Dad, I really want to go to college. I said, oh, Lord, she for real. I said, I don't know how we going to do it, but she want to go. And we sent her to college. And from that on, the rest of them said it was going, and they all made it. And some of them got master's degree, business. So, God was with me. I can't say God wasn't with me. He was with me. He heard my prayers. And I thank God for that. He heard my prayers most of all. And my grandchildren is doing the same. They're getting into college. They're doing good. And I'm still praying. I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to stop. I give it to God.
Um, Transitioning to examining the past. When you was a little girl, do you remember any young kids dying?
On what?
Young children around your age dying?
Dying? Yeah, I remember my girl go to school with us. When we went back to school, she had died a young girl. She was about 14 years old. And let me see, I lost one of my cousins, was a young boy. And I didn't remember too many kids dying, but I did remember a couple of kids dying at my age.
Seeing that your family was living in poverty and a lot of the people around you were living in poverty, how did y'all deal with illnesses?
The old people made their own medicine. They had different kind of stuff they would do. You couldn't go to the doctor if you had toothache. It was they had money to go to the doctor. I remember the time I had toothache so bad that I thought it was going to kill me. But I couldn't go to the doctor. My dad had no money to sit up with you at night with it. And the old people would get their own remedy for sickness, for cold and things, and it would do you good too. And they raised their own meat and stuff. They raised their hog. My grandfather had a cow. We'd milk his cow. They knew how to get by because they had a lot of hogs and a lot of chicken. And they all had a cow to have the milk. And get their butter off there and make the butter. We shake it up and make butter. And they knew just how to do. So they played popcorn like they don't do that now. People would play popcorn. They played my uncle would play a sugar cane. And he'd make the syrup and the sugar for the winter. And they do all, my grandfather would play the popcorn. Daddy would play, my uncle would play the sugar cane, make sugar and syrup. And my daddy played peanuts. My grandfather played popcorn. They know just how to do. They knew how to do to keep themselves in the children fed.
So when in the 90s, well, when the 80s and the 90s and 2000s came around and, black people had all of these rights and things, how did you react to seeing so many young black people going to jail and going to prison? And
that was bad. That was bad. I always did pray for my children. I'm lucky. I always did pray to Lord to take care of my children. Don't let them be drunkards and don't let them go to jail and things like that. And I can greatly say that I haven't had that problem. And I thank God for that.
okay, so this is going to be the last question. What advice or last thing you have to say to your grandchildren and the future generation?
I would tell them to always look up to God for what to do. Seek God first, and know that He can make it. You can do if you seek God, you can do anything. Anything you want to do, you can do it. But always pray and ask God, seek God ahead, and to keep on trying to get into school. This is what I hope. I hope from generation to generation, my children go to school and try to get some education to take care of themselves. That would make me feel good even when I leave from here. Or they keep on getting the best. I want them with the best. I want them with everything. I don't want I don't want them to have what I had because I had nothing. I want them to have the best. That's what I would like for my children to have. And to seek God and knowing that God will provide them with everything they're asking for.
Well, thank you. This is Brian Dawson interviewing Mary Blackman. Thank you.
Thank you. Let me say
Okay, I'm here with a guest, and I am interviewing. Say your name.
Mary Blackman.
And this is my first interview with Miss Mary Blackman, and I am interested in interviewing her because, for one, she's my grandmother, and two, she has a very, very good memory of the past, and this is an oral presentation that I can use as a historical document.